Hi, welcome to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today I'm sharing my designer tips on how to create an expensive look in your kitchen, even if you're working on a budget. So whether you're getting ready to sell your home and you're trying to make top dollar on it, or if you just want some tips for spiffing up the kitchen that you have, or if you want to gut the whole thing and start over, I think you're gonna love today's tips, and you're gonna find something that's really applicable to the space that you're working with. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure you hit subscribe, and let's jump in. The number one thing that you need to do before you even start looking at materials or appliances or any of that stuff is to really decide what your ultimate dream kitchen would even look like. I find so often that we have this sort of tunnel vision about our space and we only see what's right in front of us. So my suggestion is to look through your magazines, your books, get on Pinterest and Instagram, and just really scour the world for your ultimate design. That way you really know what you're after. Don't think about your budget, don't think about your area, don't think about even the house that you even currently have. Just really look at your ultimate dream space, and if you have that image in your mind, it'll make all the rest of these tips really work for you, because what you really need to know is what you're after. If you could have anything in the world, any kitchen at all, what kind of a kitchen would you even have in the first place? And when you know that, every decision that comes after it gets a lot easier. So I really recommend taking the time to really dream up that ultimate dream space. My tip number 2 is to think about the layout. So often we have blinders on and we just see what's right in front of us. But when you start to really consider the space as a whole and the layout that you can create within it, you might find that first of all, you have space that you didn't even realize that you had. You might be more appreciative of the space that you do have, and you are going to be better at looking at the challenges that you're facing and the positive things that you have, and finding the middle ground as you work towards that dream kitchen and what you ultimately want. Now, I know that some of you that are saying, but I'm just in this for the spiffing up part. I'm not redoing the entire kitchen. Well, you don't have to necessarily be thinking about redoing the entire kitchen to rethink the layout. Sometimes you could bring in an island that's temporary. You could take out the island that you already have that's temporary. You might think about taking down upper cabinets. You might be thinking about putting in cabinets. There's so many things that you can do with your space. And if you really just open your mind to see the space as a whole, you might realize that you actually have some really great stuff that you can work with. Now, if you are demoing the entire space, you might be thinking about taking out a wall, putting in a wall, really expanding into an area that you haven't even used as a kitchen space before. You have so many options, and you really want to think through all the different possibilities so that you can really land on the one that's going to give you the most elevated version of your personal style. The next step that most of us typically go towards is the cabinets. So you're starting to think through the finishes and what you're going to put back in this box. Usually we end up with those that are going to be doing either something with the cabinets they have, keeping the cabinets just as they are, or you might be taking everything out and completely redoing the cabinetry. So you have options no matter which of those three you end up in. If you're thinking about keeping your cabinets, you may just go through, give them a good clean, and just really spiff up what you've got. The other option is that you may find yourself ready to paint your cabinets. There are so many options when you decide to paint your cabinets. You really want to make sure that you spray them, and really you're re-lacquering or just lacquering if they don't already have a painted finish on them. You want to make sure that you nail that finish. You can paint them with a brush, and we have done that before, but the skill level that you need to get a really beautiful finish is so much harder using a brush than it is to spray them and get that amazing, just installed, brand new kitchen kind of look. So you want to think through the color, you want to think through the whole style, and then really go forth from there. The other option is if you are going to be purchasing new cabinets. Yay! You're like, ouch, it hurts. I know. It's always expensive to put new cabinets in. It's one of the biggest investments that you're going to make in your kitchen. And so you really want to think through possibly doing a classic finish on those cabinets so they don't go out of style very quickly. Most people don't even realize that IKEA actually sells a really, really well-made cabinet. And the mechanisms that are used are actually some of the same exact ones, the really high-end, I know I shouldn't be telling you this, same mechanisms that those high-end cabinet companies are using. Now, sometimes the fronts are maybe not as nice and a little bit of a giveaway. We actually showed you in a video way back when we first started our channel and we're still living in Copenhagen. We went and visited one of the owners of Reform. And Reform is actually a company that makes fronts for the IKEA cabinets. I actually looked into using them myself because I wanted to be able to save some money, and I thought that this might be a really amazing route because they sell some gorgeous options. My problem was the customization side because I have a really weird shaped kitchen. So I think that's where IKEA doesn't give you the kind of options that a custom cabinet company can. But if you don't need that, I would suggest looking and at least doing your research and seeing if IKEA might even be an option for you. So if you're really on that really tight budget, don't limit yourself. Go ahead and see what is possible. You never know what you'll end up with. Next up, we need to talk about the flooring. I know that when I did my flooring, I actually took out my Site Sand and Finish hardwood floors. And that's because, first of all, they were an island unto themselves in a sea of carpet in the rest of my house. And I really wanted to be able to put in a beautiful, authentic, reclaimed floor, which is exactly what I did. But you know what? I was thinking about a couple different styles and I was blending styles, and that's where it really gets to be a lot of fun, is if you get to replace the flooring that you're putting into your space, you can really have that blue ocean thinking where what is possible? What is my ultimate flooring? Do I want stone? Do I want limestone? Do I want marble? Do I want wood? And really think through what the ultimate flooring would be. And then even if you are working on a very tight budget, now you know in your mind the look that you want to achieve, and you can go and you can research places like Floor and Decor might have I bought marble from them that was $6 a square foot. It's what I put into my bathroom, and it looks like limestone. I was able to achieve that look because I knew what I wanted. Same thing with my hardwood floors. You could spend way more money than I did even on mine. These were a little bit more on the higher end, but I see flooring all the time that still has a very similar look. And so knowing what you're after and what's gonna make the most high-end elevated look in your space will really help you to nail those really important decisions. I hope this is helping. You guys let me know down in the comments if you're liking where this is going so far. After you've looked at all of your big finishes, your big pieces, and the structural side of what's going into your space, I think that probably, is it true? Yeah, I really think so. I think that your appliances are the biggest decision that you're going to make and will be a key determining factor to how high-end your kitchen looks. I know that is a very bold statement, but you can really tell by the appliances what kind of a kitchen you're getting. So yes, brand does matter to some extent. If you're in a certain price range in your home, you may need to be doing a Wolf or Miele or some of the really high-end brands. But, and if you happen to be able to afford an AGA or a Le Cornu, those ranges are your absolute statement piece. So out of your appliances, I would suggest that you invest the most money into your range / cooktop. It could possibly be an oven situation and a cooktop, whatever you're doing. Because typically, we will design the entire kitchen around the range. Because that, I don't know why. I think because that's where we cook. It's the most important appliance that we put into the kitchen. And that is the one that I find most of us just we just zero into to know whether this is a high-end kitchen. You're sniffing it out. Is this a high-end kitchen or not? Let me do the sniff test. Let me look at the range. So if you are working on a budget, invest the most into your range, and then you can consider saving on your dishwasher or your refrigerator and some of the other smaller appliances. I personally love Smeg. There's brands like Hallman that are sold at places like Home Depot, and these are those mid-range. So you're not all the way down at the bottom, but you've kind of leveled up just a little bit, and it gives you that really high-end expensive look on your appliances. The next place that I think is really, really important to pay attention to is your hardware. It's so important not to just run out and buy whatever's available at your local hardware store and just do whatever's easy. I think you should put a lot of effort and thought into the hardware that you put into your space. And it really doesn't matter what your style is. You can be super modern, you can be super country, and everything that happens in between. It's not a style, but it's really about the finishing touches that really make your kitchen look super high-end. So even if you aren't renovating a single other thing in your kitchen, switching out your hardware is one of the best ways to elevate your kitchen. I love to look at the small details of the hardware. It's a little bit like an outfit. You may have the most basic outfit in the world, but if you have a beautiful earring or necklace or a beautiful ring, those little touches are gonna take your outfit or your kitchen from here to off the charts. So even if you're working on a budget, I go to Home Depot, I go to build.com, Wayfair, there's a lot of sites that you can go to online even that have beautiful hardware that has some sort of really great detail that makes them stand out. There's also some really great levels up that you can go, places like Rejuvenation, even Pottery Barn has some really beautiful options. And then if you really want to splash out, if you've saved on some other areas of your kitchen and you want to really invest in something in the space that'll really make it stand out, having statement hardware can make a huge difference. Now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty, and that is all these beautiful details that really pull your entire space together. So I would think about the colors on the walls, on the cabinets, think about your tiles and your countertop. You're really starting to look at all those finer details, architectural details in the space that can really level up the whole feeling. You might be able to put in shiplap or beadboard, or maybe you're gonna put in beams, or you're gonna take down the cabinets and put some sort of statement tile up. There's so many different ways to really pay attention to the details and take your kitchen totally next level. So whether you're gutting and you get to make all these decisions from the beginning, or you're doing a little spiff up, I think that tiles are one of the most amazing ways to add such a great detail. One of the final things that I think is super, super important to consider in all the little details of your space is the lighting. It's really important to think through your lighting. It can really make your space feel so high end. And again, just like in everything else, it's not that it has to be super expensive. It is a great place to invest money, but let's face it, you can invest in your hardware, your floors, your cabinets, your appliances. So not everything, if you're working on a tight budget, can be an investment piece, and you may have to get creative. But knowing the ultimate piece that you really want, something that'll really stand out and make a bold statement, will really help your space feel high end, even if you're shopping at a place like Home Depot or Lowe's for your lighting. They have so many options these days that can give you that beautiful designer look. So don't think of your budget as a limit. Think of your mind, honestly, as the limitation. Think of the ultimate piece that you'd really want and work your way backwards. Now, the final details, that's where I think that you can really make the most of your budget-friendly hacks. This is where I think that if you want to try to put as much money into the surfaces that you're going to touch, right? The handles, the cabinets, the appliances, the faucets, all those things are things that you're going to be using all the time. So I feel like so much of this video is like invest, invest, invest. Everything is an investment piece. Those really are the important things. And so you want to try to get the best quality for your money for each of those choices. But when it comes to the finishing touches, this is where you can get a little bit more creative. You can shop antique markets, shop flea markets, garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, to finding things like vases, really great cookbooks that are really pretty, cutting boards. Honestly, I don't pull the plastic cutting boards out and put them on my counter to display them. Those are things that I have in my kitchen, but I put them away. It's not the thing that I display because they really don't convey a very high-end look. And I think that you can buy beautiful cookbooks. I look at places like Goodwill all the time and look for cookbooks and beautiful books even, but you really want to fill your space with beautiful things. I think having lovely glassware. I just recently bought coupe glasses, vintage coupe glasses off of Etsy, and they weren't super expensive. And now I have something that just really gives me something special about my space. So I think this is the best spot to really save your money. I do think that having appliances that are pretty, functional items that sit out, make them pretty. If you're gonna make a juice every single day, then have a pretty juicer sitting out. Go for something like a Smeg or some of the other options that are out on the market, and then go to Goodwill or flea market or borrow from a friend or swap with a neighbor to get some of the other stuff that you need to put into your kitchen so that you can really get the most money and the most bang for your buck out of those things that you're gonna look at every single day. So I hope that this helps. I feel like we could talk about this for a while longer, but for the sake of time, I know that you guys have other things to do today than to hang out at the House of Valentina all day. I mean, that would be fun, wouldn't it? We could have so much fun. We'll just chat all day long. But I really do love when you guys stop by. I hope that this video has been packed full of inspiration, and it will really empower you to create your dream kitchen, that ultimate expensive, high-end looking kitchen that you're dreaming of, no matter where your budget lies. I hope that it'll help you achieve that look, even in the space that you're working in right now. So thank you again for stopping by. Don't forget, hit subscribe, go check us out on Instagram, and check us down in the playlist. We've made new playlists that you can totally click on the playlist, and it'll help you binge on the channel to maybe some of the videos that are back in the archives that you haven't even seen on the channel. So I hope that you'll do that. I'll leave the links down below in the description box to make it easier for you. And yeah, I'm actually running out to go to a design client's home, and it's always so much fun. This is what I do for a living. I love what I do. So I really just appreciate so much that you guys are here and that you want to talk about it too. I feel like, thank you. I get to talk about what I'm so passionate about, and I love that we get to do this together. And I feel like we're building homes all around the world, and I get to be a part of that in your homes, and you guys get to be a part of ours. So let us know down in the comments what your favorite tip was, and if you think there's one more that we should add to the list, make sure you leave it down in the comments, because we do really have an amazing conversation going on between all of us all around the world. I mean, how cool is that? I love it. All right, I'm running out the door, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.